Some people say that it's Kikuyus who have eaten the larger share of this country. I say no. Kiambu contributes around 10% to the GDP of the country. When you look at allocation of government to Kiambu and divide it with the people in Kiambu, every person in Kiambu gets 7,000 shillings. When you look at government allocation of money to Garissa, divided by the people in Garissa, everyone in Garissa gets 54,000.
Hey there, and welcome to Fanya Mambo Africa. Super excited. It's a new week, of course, and it's exciting that we have one of the most vocal people in this country in matters politics, not elected on the national platform, but by the Wananchi at the Bunge la Mwananchi. He's the chairman of Bunge la Mwananchi. I'm talking about none other than Joakim Simiyu. Karibu sana.
Thank you very much.
How are you?
Very fine.
How is it going?
The going is good. I'm actually glad to be here. Nafurahia sana.
Wananchi wanasema aje pale Bunge la Mwananchi?
Wananchi wanasema ni wanta.
That was not what I expected. How are debates coming along at the
debates? Debates are almost mostly about current affairs, things that are pertinent to the Kenyan people. It's mostly about their experiences because they are actually the people that go through everything. So when they say there's a particular thing is not working, you better listen because they have gone through that.
Okay.
Yes.
So for instance, this week, what's the highlight for the debate, or how do you plan for these debates generally?
These debates in most cases is about emerging issues. Like this week it's been about the murder of the lawyer who was shot, and also the extension of term limits, and also the question of who should be the ideal replacement of President Ruto.
Okay.
Yes.
That is when his term ends.
His term has already ended. It's by grace that he's still in office.
That's what Wananchi say down there?
Yes.
Interesting. But then again, when you do these debates, Kenya is led by the constitution.
Yes.
So do you people abide by that, or do you have your own constitution, or how is it run? Because it's Bunge la Mwananchi. Technically, it's the parliament of the citizens.
Yeah, we are people of Kenya, so we have to abide by the constitution of the country. So everything, we mirror what should happen in the national government, and we replicate it down there. The exact same thing, apart from a few, there are practices at the national level that we do not want to be associated with. And
like what?
Practices of bribery, corruption, and all that.
So there's no bribery at the Bunge la Mwananchi?
If there is, then if there was bribery, which there is, I saw the other day, it should not be there. Because we are the ones pointing fingers to other people that you should stop corruption. So when we do the same at our own level, then we lose the moral authority to even point a finger to anyone. That's why I vehemently condemn it.
You're the chairman, just for understanding. We've had Bunge la Mwananchi for as long as I think we have known politics in Kenya.
Yes.
So maybe just understanding the history, how did it come to be, and how then are you the chairman at the moment? Like, what's the workings like?
The creation of Bunge la Mwananchi was motivated by the clamor for multi-party in the early 90s, where people are now assembling beside the roads to discuss their issues, that do we need to be a single-party system or a multi-party system? And that is how it grew into this robust and vibrant organization that talks about governance nearly every day. So one of the people in the political arena who gave it a breath of life is the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, who emphasized that the power is with the people, and the power with the people is more powerful than the power with the people in power. And therefore, with that realization, the people started enlightening themselves. That what you know, you tell me, and what I know, I tell you, so that we get rid of this ignorance on how the country should be run. Because when the people are ignorant, the government takes advantage. A senator can come to you while campaigning and lie to you that he will build a road for you when a senator doesn't have a kitty. Yeah. His work is to oversight the dealings of the county. So when people are empowered with information, they can be able to hold the government to account. And that is basically what Bunge la Mwananchi is doing. How I joined the Bunge la Mwananchi, it was not something I had planned that I will do. I used to be passing by town every morning, going to work, and I could see people assembled at Ambassador. Out of curiosity, one day I passed by there, and I had very interesting political points. And because I've been brought up by a father who used to tell me stories about how the country came by, who was the first minister, which minister did what, I was interested. So I started getting engaged in the discourses that they were discussing. And because God has bestowed on me a talent of how to explain things, they took notice of my contribution. And that's how I grew like that.
Yeah, you've jumped us from one day being at ambassador to being the chairman. That's not possible. Like, how often do you... Because you're calling it an organization. Is it registered if I want to join?
It's one of the very unique organizations we will ever have.
Why?
It's not registered because of its revolutionary setup. These are people who say things very unfiltered. And also the issue of registering makes it, it could also be incorporated into government, yes, which we don't want. But I wanted to register it anyway because I wanted Bunge la Mwananchi to be specifically an organization that deals with public participation. Because in this country, public participation has been a problem. And so many, there are 19 government decisions that have been halted by the courts because of inadequate public participation.
Okay.
But according to our constitution, the issue of public participation is not really clearly outlined, that what is the threshold, how do you go about it? And Bunge la Mwananchi would have been an organization that fully deals with public participation. That even if a government ministry, a state corporation, or a whole national government decides to do a particular thing, then Bunge la Mwananchi has to be incorporated in telling the people of what this decision is really about. Because this is an organization that comprises of people who are very much aware of what is happening across the country.
Yeah.
So that is my goal. I will exploit every avenue available to make sure that it's an organization that is registered.
That is now when you're still serving as the chairperson at the moment.
Yes.
Okay. You said you had just gone to, you were passing in town and found conversations.
Yes.
How long between this day when you're passing
and today?
And as in, if I want to be a member of Bunge la Mwananchi, what does it take?
There is a national coordinator that will take your particulars and take you through the process. There is a small token you will have to part with.
Or you pay for membership?
Kidogo too.
No, kidogo
because there are operations also. That
it runs operations?
Yes, it has operations. Like when there is an event somewhere and members of Bunge has to go there and represent Bunge, they have to get fare and all that.
Okay.
Yes. So from the day I started attending sessions at Ambassador up to today, it's been 2+ years. It was after the election of 2022. That's when I decided I started to get actively involved.
2 years and you've risen to the point of a chairperson.
There's a statement Martin Luther King said that whatever you do, even if it is sweeping streets,
Yes.
do it the best way, because you never know who is watching. And that has been my guiding principle.
So you've done it so well until they had to take you as the chairperson, elect you.
Yes.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And personally, when I knew Bunge la Mwananchi, I know they used to meet outside City Hall.
Yes.
How did that transform from City Hall to Jivanji Gardens, and
They
why?
became so radical. They were saying very uncomfortable things. So the government pushed them away from City Hall to Jivanji Gardens.
That was the sole reason?
Yes.
Okay. Another interesting thing I find when people talk about Bunge la Mwananchi, especially online, they say that most lawyers, when they admit lawyers at the bar, the advocate of, for you to be an advocate, most of them probably do not have jobs immediately. So they say a lot of people who are involved in Bunge la Mwananchi are lawyers who are trying to build up their names, just understanding how to make arguments and cases. Is that the situation?
I take Bunge la Mwananchi as also a school that teaches you in public engagements. So it's actually an incubation center of people who want to be in politics and legal affairs. So saying that there are lawyers who come there to learn, it's true. Students of the UON come there. Some akija unaona, they do not have public confidence. They do not have confidence while speaking in public. But with the time, you see them gaining momentum and attaining that confidence. So it's a good place to be if you want to learn how to manage stage fright.
If today, let's say, you say there's a national coordinator, I come and I pay the amount to be a member, what does it take for me to make my contributions? Does it run the same as, in Parliament, Bunge, we have the speaker, and they
we have
he
the
chooses
speaker
who
also.
talks? There is a speaker.
Yeah, who moderates the sessions.
How do you choose your speaker?
We elect them.
So you have proper elections?
Yes.
Funded by
interested parties, friends. If you want to be a speaker and Sarah is your friend, I come to you and say, I want to be Speaker of Bunge la Mwananchi, could you please fund my campaigns? And you do it as a friend. We have very many Kenyans of goodwill who will not like to be mentioned in public, but they want that organization to be fully functional. Because right now, something that has given us this gravitas is the inadequacy of the National Assembly in representing the people. Because Parliament is basically a group of people who are exercising delegated power from Mwananchi. So they are there to do representation and legislation and oversight on behalf of the Kenyan people.
Yes.
But as we speak today, Parliament metamorphosed from being a watchdog to a lapdog. And therefore today it is serving as a rubber stamp for the executive. And so the things that Parliament should be highlighting, actually it's Parliament that should be on the forefront of scrutinizing every decision the government does. They are not doing it. And because nature abhors vacuum, we are filling that gap.
As Bunge la Mwananchi.
Yes.
Which is very okay, except for that now, it's just a street talk.
Yes. Let me tell you something.
Because Parliament will make things move, practically. Then for you it will be
if
more...
If Bunge decides to make things move, it becomes public news. We were part and parcel of the protests of June last year about the finance bill. It is Bunge la Mwananchi that started to ignite that fire. It's us who are engaging. There are clips on social media telling people about the dangers of that finance bill. So we are equally effective in our own way. when we raise issues, people listen. And that's why we have been noticed by the whole country. Despite just being a street talk, we are also enlightening the people about things they never knew. Yes.
How do you measure the success of the debates held? Because you could have a debate, yes, but then the impact.
Yes.
How do you measure the impact?
You look at the responses from the Kenyan people. In most cases, our debates are shared online on digital platforms. So you will measure the success of that debate out of the responses of the people. What they say, if they resonate or if they think you are wrong. And out of that, you get to know if you are on the right track or not.
Okay.
Yes.
And we know Parliament has sitting days, specific days, timing and all that. Is it the same for Bunge la Mwananchi? If I wanted to attend as just
if you want to have
Mwananchi,
meaningful days of debate, it's Tuesday and Thursday.
Tuesday, Thursday.
Yes. From 5 to 7.
2 hours.
Yes.
So in those 2 hours, do you have designated speakers or is it random?
It's usually random, but just like anywhere else, there are people who, when they show up, they have to be given a chance to speak. Because when they speak about things that can be verified.
And who are these people, for instance?
We have so many people. Nganga Muigai, do you know Nganga Muigai?
No. Maybe you should introduce me to him.
The guy who...
But I know Omosh.
Omosh is a noise maker. He does not... we want people who delve into issues. A person who can explain a concept. And you as Sarah, you can sit here and listen. You can only listen to Omosh if you want to relieve your stress. You want to have some laughter. But if you want to get into real issues, there are people at Bunge la Mwananchi in Jimmy Wanjigi that you can listen to. And actually, when you go to TikTok and just type Bunge la Mwananchi Jimmy Wanjigi, you will see all the needed information you want to get.
Wow. That's very interesting. And it's also, I think it's a good thing to get to know these other names because when we have people who can handle issues, it's also good to engage them on different levels.
Yes.
And maybe also we should just come and attend one of those debates.
Yes.
For
you can
for
come
purposes
and
of...
cover one session and see it for yourself. People like Motembeye, their cameras are always there. Kenya News Alert, Kenya Digital News, and so many others.
Interesting. So out of curiosity, have you always wanted to be in politics, or how did this whole idea of being interested in political conversations come up, and were you expecting it would be to this level?
Ever since I was a child, I've always wanted to be part of the creation of a country that takes care of the needs of the people. Even when I was a young boy in lower primary, I could take note of the things that happen around the country. You see, when I was in primary, the government used to even distribute exercise books in school.
This is which year?
I am not a very old guy.
How old are you?
Mimi ni mtu nimesoma free education ya Kibaki. Yes. When I tell you that I'm 28 years, would you believe?
You're 28?
Yes.
Hey, Simiyu, you're 28. Basi umesoma historia sana.
Yes, I have done it. Even I would say that
so you know nothing about
school,
you know nothing about maziwa ya Nyayo?
No, I can't say I saw anything like that. Even the year I was born, maziwa ilikuwa ishaanza kukatika kuingia kwa mashule. I don't think in 1997 people were receiving milk. You
were born in 1997?
Yes.
Hey guys, I'm sure most of you didn't know that.
People think I am either late 30s or early 40s. I'm a young guy. I'm a Gen Z.
You dispense some... Okay, yeah, these are Gen Z for sure. You dispense wisdom.
Yes, because when you pay attention to a particular topic, you will start getting information about it. And if God has given you a talent of dispensing, because we have so many people out there who are very smart, but the problem is how to dispense what they have. And so that now that I have that gift, I cannot sit on it. I have to use it in a way that the people benefit, because life is always about other people.
Okay. Back to your story on your political interests.
Yes. I could notice things. My father used to give us stories when we were young people. And I noticed one person that my father loved to talk about so much, Minister Tom Mboya. My father used to talk about his airlifts.
Programs.
Yeah. So in how my father used to explain that, I saw Tom as a person who really was concerned about the well-being of the country, and that the people who should take leadership of the country should have the capacity to know what they are doing and the effect they make on the ordinary Kenyans. So I have always envisaged a country where everyone has an opportunity to thrive, regardless of where you are. And I've always yearned for that kind of leadership. And I had a glimpse of it when Kibaki was president. I was just a young person. But I could see the government is making deliberate efforts to make people know that they have a government. If you see a pickup come into your school with exercise books and pens and rulers, and it is given to you in classrooms, that's a government that wants to help people be self-reliant.
Yeah.
And so when such programs stop, it captures my attention. What happened? We used to receive books in schools. Today we are not. Then you realize that the president changed, which means that the person we put up there directly affects our lives. The first time to see electricity in my village was when Kibaki was president. So I couldn't think of Kibaki as a person from this tribe. I think about Kibaki as a person who directly impacted my life without even knowing that there existed someone like me. So when I see a government that for you to benefit from it, you have to have close proximity to it, I know this is not the kind of government that I want. I do not want a government that I have to sing praises to for me to benefit.
Yeah.
Because the resources they are controlling are not theirs. The resources are controlling are ours. We collectively put together. It's our taxes. We therefore have to benefit regardless of our political inclinations.
True.
So when I see a government that does not provide those services, but it keeps on demanding from the people, I feel out of place. I feel like, no, this is not the kind of government that we want. We want a government that works for the people. And that is what has motivated me to get into this space that I am today.
Okay. You've spoken about Kibaki, and how your dad pushed the idea of Tom Mboya, or rather what Tom Mboya stood for.
Yes.
Then how would you describe that transformation between that time and towards 2022? Because that's when you said you morphed into now Bunge la Mwananchi, in terms of leadership and what leadership is. That season. Maybe high school, college, wherever in between.
When I was in high school, who was in charge? The minister. I did KCP in 2014.
Just the other day.
Just the other day.
Then it makes me feel so old.
Yeah. So, like I have said,
2014 was not. It was not Matiang'i. Sorry.
No, Matiang'i came in 2015.
Who was before that?
No, Matiang'i came in 2016.
16.
After massive rigging in 2015. It was Jacob Kaimenyi.
Oh, yes, there was.
Yes. So, because I pay a lot of attention to political discussions, I could see the minister who is doing what. when I was growing up, you could, ukiulizwa, who is the minister for water? You don't struggle mentioning.
Yeah.
Unajua ni Charity Ngilu.
Ngilu.
Ukiulizwa, who is minister for trade? Unajua ni David Mwiraria. But today, things are different. That the impact of the people in positions of leadership is not being felt. Today, when you ask a random person, who is the minister in charge of transport? Someone will struggle to tell you.
Yeah.
Who is the minister in charge of gender? Even the people who that ministry should address their issues, they do not know that person.
Yeah.
So it begs the attention of the people to say, no, something is wrong. And I've always had a political behavior. I'm very argumentative, even when it's a small issue. I actually had a very hard time when I got employed. I've been in employment for 4 years now, because everything I have to, even in high school, I used to interrogate even the fee structure. I used to ask teachers, what's the difference between remedial and tuition? Well, tell me the difference, because remedial has 8,000 and tuition has 6,000. So am I paying for the same thing with the two different names? So it's kind of personality. It's not something you can run away from.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Interesting. Now, when do you leave? When you leave high school, or do you join college? Do you go to college?
Yes, I joined college briefly, but I didn't stay there for long.
Why?
Because of money.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it's because you were sent away because of arguments or something.
No.
Okay. This has lost my trail of thought. But I wanted to ask, at what point do you transition now from this to joining ODM? Because in 2022, you were in ODM.
Yes. After 2017.
Wait, 2017, where were you?
I started now being actively involved in politics in 2017. Mm-hmm. After I was in Kitui at that time. I used to campaign for Charity Ngilu to be governor. But
you were not good in campaign, seems. I'm just saying, she lost.
2017?
Ngilu has not. Did she?
She was governor.
She did 2 terms. She didn't do the first.
Yeah, she was governor for 1 term after David Malombe.
Yeah. So you were not good in campaigning.
No, I was just a small person there. So,
okay.
And also, after the nullification of the election, I have been a very ardent supporter of Raila Odinga.
Yes.
And I believed that the only person who can change this country is Raila Odinga. That's how I started advocating for the ideas and policies of ODM. Most especially in 2022, when Right Honorable Raila Odinga was talking about one county, one product. I saw that as an idea to create jobs, and the young people could greatly benefit from it. Because if we say that every county has to have a very vibrant industry, we have cloves in Kwale, we have cotton in Busia, we have fish in Homa Bay, we have coffee in Kiambu, we have sugar cane in Bungoma and Kakamega, we have tea in Rift Valley. So it makes the country an industrial hub.
Yeah.
We cut on importation, we provide jobs for our people, and business booms. That's why I supported Raila Odinga in the last elections. And that is, in the last election, that is when I was a very big advocate for ODM. But later on, when Baba joined the broad-based government, I felt like we have deserted the issues that we have put our lives on the line for, issues that have led to the death of so many young people, and we are joining the people that were responsible for the death of the same people without even demanding accountability. So I decided not to follow that path. and to stick to the principles of fighting for a better tomorrow in our country, because I realized I have the age advantage. And I also do not want to say that I now hate ODM and Raila Odinga, but I just disagree with...
On principle.
Yes, we cannot... you can't say Kibaki is a bad person. Later on, you work for him. You say Uhuru is a bad person. You later on work with him.
Is that not campaign language?
No, even if it's campaign language, you have to be known. Where do you stand? If I have to type on my phone here, what does Sarah stand for? Even ChatGPT should tell me.
So you think when Raila was doing the signing, there was a whole 10-point agenda which was supposed to help implement whatever the things that he believed were to be done. You don't believe in that 10-point agenda?
I knew it was a time management scheme, but not a deliberate way of dealing with the issues of the people. You
think he didn't want to help?
If he really wanted, what has he done ever since he joined government? Because the 10-point agenda, it was about auditing of the public debt, compensating of protest victims.
But we just saw the other day there was a whole committee that now has had a lot of issues.
In the sense of compensating victims of protest. Before we go to the parent of Denzel Omondi and say we are giving him money because he lost his son.
Yeah.
The first question should be, how did Denzel Omondi die? Have we had criminal accountability to the perpetrators of that injustice? If the perpetrators of the death of Denzel Omondi have not been brought to account, then compensation is meaningless. That compensation comes later. That Rex Masai was shot, the person who did is behind bars. Then we can start talking about injustice, compensation. But if we overlook that, then we are not doing anything. It's not because we are against compensation of victims. The Nyalenda brothers who were dragged from their mother's house and clobbered to death. So when we go to their mother and say we are compensating you for the death of your children, what happens to the people who killed those brothers? The Kianjokoma brothers. We have to bring people to account for their actions before we compensate for those victims. So if we rush to go to the victim compensation without criminal accountability to the perpetrators, then we have denied them justice.
That makes sense.
Yes.
Very viable argument. So I am still stuck on the fact that you mentioned if Raila worked with Kibaki, he worked with Uhuru, and he's worked with President Ruto now. So you don't think he has the best interest while doing all these things for country?
They always say that the person who stabilizes the country is Raila Odinga.
That is true.
Who destabilizes the country for him to stabilize? Because he's the one who stabilizes. Then who destabilizes it? Because for you to stabilize something, it was destabilized in the first place.
So in your opinion, who does that and why?
That's the
Maybe
question.
The question should be the why.
The question is who? Because in the politics, I've learned something. That for you to get credit, you create a problem and provide a solution. Then you take credit as a good person. That is not a very...
What are you saying?
I'm just saying politics has taught me some things. And Nowadays, I take everything with a pinch of salt. So this master stabilizer must tell us who destabilizes the country. If it's in the best interest of the country, what were the issues in 2007 that led to mass killing of the Kenyan people? Did we deal with those issues? We did not. They re-emerged in 2013 after 5 years.
Yeah.
People fought again. Did we deal with the issues? No. We swept them under the carpet. They re-emerged in 2017. We had an nullification of election. Baba Raila Odinga said he cannot go back to an election with an IEBC led by Chebukati. But he agreed to go to an election 2022 with an IEBC led by Chebukati. So what happened in 2017? Did we deal with the issues in 2017? No, we did not. It re-emerged again in 2022. The same issues we've not dealt with. We are talking about issues. We want to profile tribes that there are no issues, it's just this tribe that is against the people. We are sweeping them under the carpet. And one day I want to tell you that if the leadership is not very careful, we will have to remove the whole carpet in this room called Kenya and clean it.
When is that day?
I don't know. You know, God gave the leadership of this country a glimpse of what can happen if Kenyans decide to take matters in their own hands. It happened on June 25th last year. But they did not learn. They are still behaving the same way. It was just a small glimpse, then akafunga macho. They should have learned from that experience that Kenyans can decide one day to turn things upside down. They didn't. They squandered that chance. Today, they are telling us in our face that there is nothing we can do. We tried, they managed us, they can still manage us again. I can promise them that there is silence before the storm. They have a chance to make sure that the storm doesn't happen. But if they continue with the way they are doing things, everyone is not safe. They keep talking about peace and patriotism to the country.
Yeah.
Are they showing patriotism? How are you patriotic to a country when you want to finish everything that benefits the people? When education sector fails, who gets affected? It's the people.
Yeah.
The leadership has money to take their children, to fly their children overseas. When health fails, public health sector has failed. Who gets affected? It's the people. Because for them, they afford the best medicine around the world. So who is going to demand for accountability? It's these people. And it is very hard to control a people-led revolution. They think they are very smart. When I realize that when I use smartness, you are better placed to beat me, I will not use it. I will use foolishness. You saw how ministers in Nepal had a rough day the other day.
Yeah.
They were forced to swim when they only swimming in swimming pools filled with mineral water. They had to swim. And I could see Kenyan bloggers paid by government condemning that action, that, young people in Nepal have burned their country. They will soon realize that it's better bad government than a no government at all. The Gen Zs of Nepal woke up the following day to clean the streets and appointed one person to be the leader of the country. Hapa Kenya unaulizwa Ruto anaenda Alfa. Nepal is not very far away from here.
Well, it is quite far.
It's not very far.
It is. But do you think then Kenya is ripe for a revolution?
Every time we talk about politics, the word revolution doesn't miss. That's a sign that we could be ripe for a revolution.
Or else, what defines a revolution also?
The thing people are fighting for is that they are not seeing the fruits of their labor. You work so hard.
Yeah.
You get, but what you get cannot be enough to sustain your life. You see someone there who does not work as hard, he has more than enough. When you are struggling to pay rent, some people have enough money to plant skyscrapers like seeds. It captures the attention of the people. That what are we doing wrong that those ones are doing right? How comes they have a lot of money, but we don't have? Such questions are dangerous. When you live in a country where 22 million people cannot afford a meal, they wake up every day thinking about what they are going to eat next. When those people decide that you, the leadership, are the ones responsible for our misfortunes, what do you do? So when we talk about the country being led the right way, we are talking in the interest of everyone, both the leader and the people. Make sure that the people have something. So that when you imagine burning Nairobi and you have 2 stalls of second-hand clothes, you take some steps back because you have something you are going to lose when Nairobi burns.
Yeah.
What if you don't have anything in Nairobi? You don't have anything to lose apart from your miserable life. So how can someone convince you about peace and stability? Can you be stable when you can't afford school fees for your children? You're not. So what other stability are you talking about? So the leadership must understand that the people, the biggest issue is because the resources are not getting to where they are supposed to be.
Okay.
And that's the biggest issue.
And that's the issue that people are talking about out here. Okay. You've said that after Raila Odinga went to the broad-based government, you were done with him on principle, not on any other thing.
Yes.
So have you left ODM, and if yes, to where? And in line with that, because a lot of young people debate about joining political parties. And today, if I wake up and say I've joined UDA, people will be...
We'll leave.
Yeah, we are done with this one, yes.
There is only 2 parties that you will have a problem with.
ODM, UDA, yeah, because people will also say, no, now you've joined Raila. Then are you dictating on my right also?
It's not about dictation. It's about perception of where you are. If you've joined, you have the right to join any person, any party. But if you joined a party that has been responsible for the oppression of the country, we start associating you with oppressors. And we treat you the way we treat oppressors. So I left ODM. And I joined another party.
Officially? Like, were you a member officially?
Yes.
Okay.
I joined Safina Party.
That's the party that's led by Jimmy Wanjigi?
Yes.
Very interesting switch. What was the motivation?
I had an opportunity to sit down with Jimmy Wanjigi. People in public, they portray another image, but in private, they have another image. With Jimmy, it's the same within the closed door rooms and in the public. And he is the only person among the people I have listened to who have expressed interest to become president, who understands what the real issue is.
Joakim, how much money did Jimmy Wanjigi pay you?
Do you need to be paid to identify what is wrong within your own country? I started talking about these things before I met Jimmy. So it's me we have met with the person of whom our agenda aligns. Because we are making noise saying that Ruto has to go. Does it end with the Ruto going? No. And why is the Ruto going? After we have done all the sloganeering, 1 term, 2 term, Ruto must go. What are the issues? What is the agenda for the incoming government? If you do not know what is wrong with the country, even if you agree with me that Ruto has to go, we are more likely to make the same mistake with the other person. Because I don't want us to come back here after 2027 elections talking about the same things, crying about the same problems under different president.
Are you telling me you were not promised funds to fund maybe Bunge la Mwananchi or even a position for you to join? Because we know how Kenyan politics works.
If Jimmy decides to fund Bunge la Mwananchi to go around the country educating people about the real issues of the country, I don't see anything wrong with that. If I get a position within the party of Safina, it means I have been given a responsibility to actually make possible of what I want to see, to be the change I have been looking for. And also, as a very young person, I saw you were very surprised learning my age. Being trusted with a position in a party, it means that the party leader believes in the young people. And there is nothing wrong with that.
That's good. You know, someone would argue the same about, say, ODM, like we had Casmuel.
Yes.
If he went through, you see the way you're saying, you sit with Jimmy and you understand it's a different thing from what the public perhaps knows. Casmuel came and told us the same. I sat with Raila Odinga, I understood this and this, and now I see there's a vision in ODM. What's different?
No, if you are...
I mean, today, if I, Sarah, sit with President William Ruto, and he sells his agenda, and I might see a difference, yeah.
You look at what is out there mostly. What does ODM stand for? If you are to be asked, just off the cuff on the street, do you know what ODM stands for?
I can't speak for that. I would have to confirm with Sifuna.
If this person has an agenda for the country, he has the chance to prove to us that he really has an agenda. But he is the person supporting the people who have been maiming and killing the young people. So if the vision of the party is to be part of an oppressive regime, it's okay. Maybe that's what Casmuel meant. What Safina stands for is a working economy and creation of wealth by the people, not from government. My party leader has been very vocal about the real issue that has put us here. Let me ask you a question. How is the situation? Because it has come to an extent where teachers, very reputable people in our society, are huddled in a state house ground, and they appreciate 10,000. Before you condemn teachers for appreciating 10,000, what is it that pushed them there? There must be something behind it.
Yeah.
It's because they are having a problem with managing their day-to-day lives. What they are earning as a salary from teaching is not enough.
But that is not what the president said.
The president is telling us things that we are the ones who should tell him.
No, the president said he invited teachers so they can have a conversation.
Let me ask you.
And teachers went and they had a conversation. Yes.
So 1,000 teachers. For how long did they meet the president? A few hours.
Yeah.
Who spoke the most? The president.
I wasn't present. I didn't follow the whole event.
If you are in a meeting with 1,000 people, how do you have a conversation with 1,000 people? Let's say every teacher is speaking.
They had representatives.
Why didn't he just meet representatives? If we are 400 people, we have representatives among ourselves, do we have to go to a meeting, all of us?
So you have a problem with President Ruto meeting teachers and other professionals because it's not just the teachers?
I have a problem with it because what is the conversation about? For him, it is just for you to see that he had very many people in State House. That is his main goal. Do you know why? So that he creates an image of a president who is not hated by people. That people do not hate President Ruto. There is actually nothing wrong with how he's running the country. Those saying that he's a bad person are just tribal. If, let's say, the economy was working, why would a teacher go to school, to State House for 10,000? If the issue is about education, discussing how the education sector should function well, do you invite 1,000 teachers in one day? You meet experts in that field. Just a room of 7 people.
You know, we are assuming he has not.
He has not.
I don't think the president will tell us everything everyone he has met.
No, he parades them everywhere. He takes photos with them.
Not all of them.
Like who did do? I can
I
tell
don't
you
work
for
in
sure.
State House.
I can tell you for sure.
Uh-huh.
If you went to State House tomorrow, I will know the following day. Because he will take a photo with you and his people will post. He likes photos with the people who visit him.
Okay, Joakim, let's go back. We were talking about Safina.
Yes. I decided to be a member of Safina Party because it talks about the issues that pushed young people to the streets in 2024.
Okay. I have seen a presser today inviting us to an event on Thursday, the National Delegates Conference.
Yes.
From where you sit as now a member, what are we expecting?
You are expecting the unveiling of a political party that is coming to, as I have always been saying, address the real issues. Political parties have just been about capturing power, and after capturing power, it ends there. This is a party that is led by someone who understands what it means for Kenyans to have money in their pockets. When you have money in your pocket, you have solved 90% of your problems. And we want a government that can bring capital close to people. And we have seen how President Ruto has managed his government. And we have identified areas where areas that are causing money not to come close to people. And we have been very categorical that we will be able to deal with that problem. My party leader has been very vocal on public debt issue.
Yes.
On domestic borrowing by government. He has talked about free education from primary to high school. He's talked about free access to health care, not Isha. He has talked about 5% VAT. When you deal with the issue of public debt, it means that the 2 trillion we pay to debt every year is now in our pocket. There will be a lot of impact made by that money. When you deal with the issue of domestic borrowing by government, when a government borrows locally, it means the government is borrowing money from the open market in the country. And how does the government get to the money in the open market? Through banks. pension funds and insurance companies. So when government comes for borrowing, it becomes the biggest customer for the banks.
Yeah.
So that as an individual, you cannot get money in the banks. The banks will be reluctant to lend to you. If a bank is lending to government at an interest rate of 14%, with you they will give you at 17.5. It will make it very exorbitant. You will not be able to pay. But now, let's look at the scenario where the government is not borrowing locally. The banks have to make profit for their shareholders.
Yes.
How they will be stranded with money looking for customers. There was a time in this country where a bank could pitch a tent in front of a church on a Sunday and convince the congregants to take loans. They could pitch a tent in Kikomba, not even one, 3 tents, encouraging those business people to take loans. What happened? It brings credit close to you, that you can take a loan, open a business, because it has terms that are affordable for you to pay. But right now, that's not the case because the government is coming for everything. The government is borrowing, but we are not seeing the services. We are not accessing education, despite the fact that deductibles on our salaries and pay slips are enormous. 52% of the charge on the pump petrol are taxes. What happens when you reduce that?
People have more value.
People have more money.
Yeah.
Disposable income will be there. So if we have a problem of housing, the people will take care of that. You will identify a housing problem in Kerugoya. You will build houses for people there. I will identify in Bungoma. I will build houses there. The private sector is the one that will drive the economy, not the government. The government is to facilitate, license, monitor, inspectorate. But right now, the government is making profit out of the money that people are paying.
Okay. Interesting perspective. And I remember we spoke at length with your party leader when he came on the show. And I would just want to see, assuming that Jimmy Wanjigi is elected the president of Kenya, and during the same election, we maybe have Raila Odinga on the ballot also. And things go that Jimmy wins. And now Raila demands another handshake, or situations force Raila Odinga to have a handshake.
Raila is a very clever person. He's not. He knows how to map his targets. When you elect a president who is clueless, a president who will not be able to deal with the issues affecting the people, that president will make a handshake with Raila Odinga. Because Raila Odinga will identify the faults in your government, then ride on them and cause a very massive public outcry.
Are you saying that the 3 presidents, or is it 4 that he has had handshakes with, were not?
Yeah, they were unable to run the country. That's why they shook his hand. Why would a president shake Raila's hand if they are able to deliver to the people? If people are not complaining, how will Raila make it to go to government? He capitalizes on things the government is not doing. He comes and says, unga imepanda. Kweli watu wakiangalia, unga imepanda. He says, petrol, the price is high. Hey, it's actually true. He says, they rigged my election. You will believe him. Whipping of emotions. People will support him. The government is run by 3 pillars: people, money, and guns. The government should use guns to protect the people, so that people, and use money given by the people to provide services by the people. And Raila understands that principle very well. So what does he do? When a person takes government and is unable to run that government, Raila takes away one pillar, the people. So the government will be forced to use guns to threaten the people. That's how because it cannot work. When a government uses excessive force on the people, it loses legitimacy. It becomes more unstable. Then he comes in to stabilize. So if when Jimmy Wanjigi wins.
Hey, you've corrected yourself very fast.
Yes, when. It's not if.
Uh-huh.
When he wins, Raila will not make a handshake because he will not have anything to ride on. Everything will be affordable. Money will be in the pockets of the people. Education is running. There is health care.
Joakim, that script sounds very familiar to Kenyans. Of good things coming. And
the difference between us and the people who came before us.
Yes.
They told us very good things, but they didn't say the how. When President Ruto said, what were the talk about bottom, wind up, we asked how. He didn't explain that bit. For us, we have only 5 ways to get there.
Which are?
Deal with the public debt. Domestic borrowing by government should be 0. Free education. Free health care. 5% VAT on sales tax. That is the how. Sisi hatukuja na mambo mingi, ati sijui nini.
Hey, mambo hata 5 ni mingi unajua for our government.
No, we don't want you to use 2 hands to count our agenda. Just 1 is enough.
Okay, President Uhuru had 4.
The big 4 agenda.
Exactly. So that I'm telling you 5 is even a lot.
No, sisi tuko na 5. He came with we asked him how he's going to I have always been critical about the workability of these agendas. For us, if you ask how we are going to achieve it, we have a very clear blueprint.
Okay. That's interesting. Let's wait for the NDC to hear how the party leader and, your team is going to break down that.
Yes.
But something very critical, even as you go towards that, is that the people wonder, now that is Jimmy. Jimmy is part of, for now, let's say he's part of the opposition in the country. And then we have the United Opposition Movement. What has made him stay away from the United Opposition that has Gachagua, Martha, Eugene, Kalonzo, Tawe Movement, I don't know, and who I have left out?
I have sat with nearly all of them. The only person I've not met is Rigathi Gachagua. So I'm not going to talk about him because I've not sat with him on the table. But I've sat with Kalonzo, I've sat with Eugene, I've sat with who? Those 2. And just having a conversation about the country. The reason why I feel like all those people should come together and support Jimmy is because the only person who understands the real issues is Jimmy.
The rest don't?
They don't. If the President Ruto lies, are we going to look for a president who doesn't lie?
Every human being lies at some point.
No, right now it's about Ruto is a liar. So we are just going to look for a president who doesn't lie and we are going to be good. No. If President Ruto has killed young people, the question is, what made him kill them? What were they saying? The young people went against President Ruto before he even started killing them. What was it that pushed them to go against him? Once you identify what is the problem, then you can solve it. But if you want to send President Ruto home, but you cannot say what he has done wrong, then how are you different from him? His biggest problem is he doesn't even know the issues. President Ruto doesn't know what the problem is.
So are you saying the opposition leaders don't know?
The opposition leaders are addressing symptoms, things that we think are the problem, when there is a real, very big problem. That is the thing. That is our uniqueness.
Okay. Because again, in politics, in Kenya, politics has really taken tribe on a very big scale for the larger part of, the past. For now, at least we are seeing things changing. How do you think tribe this time, in terms of maybe numbers, looking at it in terms of numbers, is going to affect how 2027 pans out?
The issue of tribe.
Yeah. And by the way, you can even touch on tribalism. Is it even a bad thing? If I'm Kikuyu and I'm proud of it,
there's nothing with you being Kikuyu and being proud of your tribe. I am a Luya who is a very proud Luya.
Yeah.
And another Luo who is a very proud Luo. But if I am going to judge you just based on your tribe, then that is wrong. That I want a surgeon, and they bring me Sarah, who is a Kikuyu. Instead of looking at your qualifications, I start looking at you at huyu ni Mkikuyu. Now that's wrong. And there has been creation of vitriol against tribes among themselves. And we think that that is the problem. No, that's how politicians have been surviving all this time. They make you as a Kikuyu to believe 100% that your problem is a Luo. And a Luo is also made to believe that their problem is a Kikuyu. A Luya thinks their problem is a Mukamba. When your problem is how the government is giving resources. I come from Bungoma County, a county that has Zoya sugar and pan pepper.
Yeah.
Two very big industries. If they were working, I am 100% sure hata singekuja Nairobi. I'll just be in Bungoma there, planting sugarcane, because there are jobs.
Yeah.
Someone wants to blame Kikuyus for the failure of those industries. When we have people from my tribe who are in parliament, when Zoya Sugar fell, came on its knees, Moses Wetangula was a senator. He comes from there, it comes from his county. Musalia Mudavadi was in government.
The two brothers.
The two brothers. Members of parliament from Western were there. What did they do to stop that company from falling? If you have done nothing for yourself, don't blame other people for doing everything for themselves. Someone from Mount Kenya, when you touch macadamia today, the leaders of Mount Kenya will come together regardless of their political parties and inclinations to defend their people from exploitation on how macadamia is being sold. But when you touch sugarcane in Western, they come for that issue divided in their political parties and affiliations. So who is the problem? Is it ourselves or the other people? Some people say that it's Kikuyus who have eaten the larger share of this country. I say no. Look at the numbers. Kiambu contributes around 10% to the GDP of the country. When you look at allocation of government to Kiambu and divide it with the people in Kiambu, every person in Kiambu gets 7,000 shillings. Kisumu contributes 7 to 5%. When you take government allocation to Kisumu County, every person in Kisumu is entitled to 5,000 shillings. Garissa contributes 0.3%. When you look at government allocation of money to Garissa, divided by the people in Garissa, everyone in Garissa gets 54,000.
Aye, that disparity.
Mount Kenya alone contributes 54% to the GDP of the country, their contribution. Northeastern alone contributes less than 4% as a region, but it's getting more than Mount Kenya. So who is eating whose sweat? If we have to look at the tribal angle of hating other tribes for eating the national resources, and when you send money to Northeastern, it doesn't solve the problem of the people of Northeastern. It still finds its way back to Nairobi to build malls and skyscrapers. And they still cry that we are marginalized. Who is marginalizing you?
Their own leaders, perhaps?
Yes. So before you even blame another person for your misfortunes in this country, interrogate yourself. That's why the misfortunes we have in Western, I don't blame it on any other person. I blame it on myself and the leaders that we have. If Kera is confident enough to allocate 1.1 billion in Kikuyu constituency for construction of rural roads, but it allocates 50 million to a whole county of Bungoma, what motivated them to do that? Before you even point fingers at Kera, it means Kera knew that the people of Bungoma will not even raise an issue from that. Because the people of Bungoma have not been made aware of what is supposed to happen. The leaders of Mount Kenya enlightened their people. So are we going to hate the leader from Kikuyu, or we will have to hold to account the leaders from Bungoma County?
Both of them.
These ones are taking advantage of the ignorance of the other people.
That is the sad part.
So these ignorant ones, why are they ignorant? When I take advantage of you, instead of start to complain, deal with what I'm taking advantage of. You will leave me powerless. What have we done for ourselves?
So have we empowered, not even have we, I don't know, how are we empowering the people enough, because we are coming to 2027? It's a perennial problem, not that it's the first time it's happening.
Yes, it's a big problem. We have not done enough empowerment and enlightening of the people. Because when you enlighten the people with this information, it gives the political class a very hard time. It now becomes politics of issues. It's a very hard thing to maintain. When you go somewhere and you can't insult your opponent, you only need to tell people what you can do. Not most people can do that.
Yeah.
So they want to ride on this ignorance. But we are determined to make people aware that they have been taken advantage of for a very long time.
Do you think the tribal card will play a part?
Yes,
And how?
Yes. Right now, the initial plan by President Ruto was to depict Kikuyus as the enemies of the country, and that he's had no problem with how he's running the country. The only people who are against him are Kikuyus, and he wanted to incite the other tribe to be one against 41. You remember the formula used in 207?
Yes.
One against 41? That was the initial formula, but it has fallen flat on the surface. There are concerted efforts to push a tribal card, where you tell a Luo that watu wameiba hii country ni Wakikuyu. Then unaenda unaambia Wakikuyu, Wajaluo wakipita kura hawatalipa rent. Unaambia Waluya wacha kupigia hawa si watu wazuri, jipigie nyinyi. That's why Luyas talk about unity every election time.
Elusive. The elusive unity. Luya unity.
Yeah, Luya unity. Every week, every election time, Luyas unite. Everyone wants Luyas to unite. and support him. People like this one, Musalia Mudavadi. Francis Atwoli did everything to make sure that he has installed Musalia as the kingpin of Western Kenya. After he was installed as a kingpin, he came back to Nairobi and slept. When Francis Atwoli had used like 200 million to just mobilize Western region and say, let us support this son of ours. He went and slept. It was Sijui Bokongo 3. Now they are waiting for Bokongo 7.
Then is that statement they say true? Akishiba hasumbui.
Sasa, kama...
I'm just saying.
Mi naona hiyo ni ukweli because... I keep on saying that...
Hey, Joakim.
positions of power and influence are meaningless if the people where you come from are not benefiting from it.
Then what would be different from what Gachagua was being fought for?
If Gachagua is saying Kikuyus must get this, and Luhya is also saying according to what we have in the country, Luhyas are entitled to this, and Luhya is also getting his share. At the end of the day, every tribe and community in Kenya have got, according to what they should get, equitable distribution of resources. What is wrong with that?
Does it have to be with the tribe? Can't we just talk about equitable distribution without...
There is nothing wrong when you equate it to tribe. It only becomes wrong when you are giving one more than the other. When you are not going to be equitable in your distribution, that one community is having 90%, the other one is having 0. That becomes a problem.
How do we, or even, how do Kenyans then make it a thing of when going or dealing with politicians or leaders, the focus is on national issues over personal or person, the person vis-a-vis the issue?
Kenyans are sometimes, even as we are pushing the leadership, we don't have to cry a lot because Kenyans are very funny people. A Kenyan will go to a ballot and vote for a thief, knowing very well, this person I'm voting for is a thief. But when that thief starts stealing, then you start crying.
The shock.
Yes. It's like no. The person stealing is only being himself.
He's just...
Yeah, it's like seeing a pastor with a Bible. Why should you be surprised? That's what pastors do. They carry Bibles and preach. Thieves steal. You voted for thieves. Stop complaining about how they are stealing. Think about how you can vote for better people who will not steal. That's why there is nothing this government has done that has surprised me. I know their capability. I knew President Ruto is a man who has a lot of capability to take this country very far in the wrong direction. And it's happening, so I don't get surprised.
But you had belief that Raila Odinga was going to take Kenya in the right direction.
Yes, that is what surprised me.
So we can't also trust that your judgment is good.
My judgment now is good because I have learned from my past mistakes. The only thing that surprised me is seeing Raila Odinga the other side. I have no problem with the Ruto. You know, in a community, a child who used to pass exams in school, you expect a lot from them.
Yeah.
But you don't expect anything from a child who has been running away from school. Expectation haikuangi mingi. So at the end of the day, when the child who was passing exams in school fails in life, people are more concerned about that one than this other one, who at fail, we were expecting that this one will not go far. Raila Odinga is that person who is like a child who has been passing exams. And so we expect that this child, when he grows up, he will be a great man. Then he grows up, this child, and becomes a drunkard, and he gets destroyed. So the disappointment is very big. Very big.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But he's okay with it.
You know, just because you are okay with something, it doesn't make it okay. If you are okay with making noise in your neighborhood, does that make making noise okay? Like, your neighbors will be persevering a lot. It's just because some of them don't talk about it doesn't make it okay.
How different? Okay, maybe let me switch the question to this. You have a lot of faith in Jimmy Wanjigi today. What if he was to switch and become what Raila has become, which has disappointed you?
I'll quit politics.
And do
I will quit politics.
to do what?
I will train how to sing. I will become a singer. Yes.
So then do you think we have a problem as Kenyans putting this? You remember that clip where Mandago was saying, usieke siasa kwa
roho.
Weka kwa lungs.
But I am a person who
Okay, I feel bad for you already.
who is very open-minded. Like, mostly, before things happen, nakuanga nimeona, I started preparing myself in 2018 after the handshake. I started seeing things are not right. I was in Uhuru Park when Raila was being sworn in. Something didn't feel right. I went home not as hide up the way I went in. I couldn't say what, but something was wrong. Then I saw the handshake. I was skeptical about it, and later on, I accepted. Immediately after the elections of 2022, I had a thought that Raila will work with Ruto. And actually, I said it in Bunge. It's only that it was not captured on camera. It was like 2 weeks after the election. I told guys that, you know what? Raila can work with Ruto. There was a time, there was games in Kasarani. There were games in Kasarani. And Raila and Ruto went there. Ruto got there first. Then Raila came in. They showed up at the VIP area watching football together. Everyone had changed and they were wearing T-shirts of Harambee, which means there were 2 T-shirts waiting for them. They had planned to be there. They later on said it was just a coincidence. There are no such coincidences in politics. So I had started developing myself for any eventuality.
So your heart was...
nilikuwa najua kama you are in a relationship with a woman that is planning to leave and you know it. So when they finally leave, you pretend that you are very heartbroken, but you are somehow expecting this person is planning to leave.
Okay. Gachagua announced that is it actually yesterday or on Sunday?
Yes.
That he's going to run. Well, of course, that depends on the court's decision. But as of now, what do you think about that whole...
When Gachagua was saying that, he wasn't addressing Kenyans. He was addressing the principles of opposition. You know, it was a dog whistle.
It was not for...
It was not for everyone. He was building his stakes to create an impression that he's the most favored one, so that when they meet on the table to discuss who is the favorite candidate, because they will have to.
Of course.
Everyone who has said they are going to become president, there is a time they will meet on the table. And every political leader is building their stakes up. So he wants to go to that table saying, "Mnaona hata mimi ni watu wanataka," so that he bargains for something big on the table. He wasn't talking to everyone. I see people very angry. Gachagua can't be president. He's not a fool. He knows he can't be president. But he said that intentionally. He was addressing the principals in opposition, saying that if it's about running, I have the muscle to run. Yes.
That's a message.
That's a message.
I like that. Out of curiosity, since you're supporting Jimmy, what if Jimmy wakes up one day and says, okay, fine, let's say the united opposition has settled on Martha.
Yes.
We are all going this direction. Do you also quit politics?
No, I don't. I will be in that formation behind Jimmy, in that formation. Because I know when he's on that table advising them, there will be policies in that government that will be favorable to the people. Just the way he was part of the Vision 2030 in Kibaki's government, and there were favorable policies that came out of it.
What position are you running for?
I'm thinking of being a member of parliament.
For which constituency?
That's what I'm still thinking. You know, I could run even in Kerugoya. Yes.
Of course, you can.
Yes.
You just need to be a registered voter.
Yeah, I can switch registration and go to Kerugoya and vie. I am going to be on the ballot as a member of parliament, but I'm thinking where. As I decide niende Kisii kitu chache.
Who are you targeting?
Yes.
Napigwa kwa dayas.
Now, politics, its nature is chaotic in itself.
So, sure you'll be on the ballot. That's given.
Yes.
Okay. Out of curiosity, since you were a Baba follower for quite a long time, and this has nothing to do with Baba, but this is just my interest. What's the one statement that Baba has said that you have enjoyed and has carried you through? And I would want you to say it the way he speaks, because that's something you mimic him a lot. And you're getting yourself ready.
There is a story he gave about corruption. It was a devolution conference. It was held in Nakuru at that time. Was it Nakuru? Yes, in Nakuru. And he was giving a comparison of corruption in Africa and the Asian tigers. So he talked about Malaysia. He said a minister for roads and public works from Nigeria who went on a benchmarking trip in Malaysia. So when he got in Malaysia, he was welcomed and the city was so nice. Traffic is well, the order, no potholes on the roads. The city of Kuala Lumpur was well kept. So in the evening, he was treated to dinner at the residence of the Malaysian Minister for Roads and Public Works. So he found him staying in a very nice house. So he asked, "How do you manage this?" So the Malaysian minister said, "Let's go to the balcony." When he went to the balcony, he asked, "Do you see that highway there?" The Nigerian minister saw a very big highway. The Malaysian minister said 10% here. The Malaysian minister ate 10%. So 2 years later, it was now a return visit of the Malaysian minister into Nigeria. He found the city in a very disorganized manner, cars hooting, potholes everywhere. In the evening, he was treated to dinner at the residence of the Nigerian minister. He was living in a palace house with 2 helipads. So the Malaysian minister asked, how do you manage this? Again, he was taken to the balcony. Say, do you see that highway there? The Malaysian minister could not see any highway. He said, 100%?
Yeah.
So there is corruption in 2 countries, but the other one is eating 100 and this one is eating 10. I think that's the best story I've had Raila give. And the next statement is when he said that even if we give Ruto 100 years, there's nothing that will change. And I believe him.
You believe him.
Yes.
He's there already.
Yeah.
That's very interesting stories. I like the Malaysian one because I remember it so much. This other one, I look at it, I'm like, this is just political talk. So I really don't take that much.
Yeah.
When you look at Africa as a continent, who would you say is your best president or a leader you admire and why?
Right now, everyone is talking about Ibrahim.
Traore.
Yes. Because of how he has revolutionized his country, the national resources of the country of Burkina Faso are being used to benefit the Burkinabes. And that is what should always be the goal of every African leader. And he has made sure that the Burkinabes manage the affairs of the country as Burkinabes without the interference of the outside forces. And I think if we can follow that route, every country in Africa will be okay.
All right. And of course, if I ask who you see that, you will go back to your party leader in the Kenyan perspective.
In the Kenyan perspective, there's no other person apart from Jimmy.
Okay.
Yes.
Your closing remarks to our viewers and also to Kenyans, basically in terms of how we go into voting or looking for leaders.
When the Kenyans vote in 2027, I want them to vote thinking about themselves. When you vote thinking about yourself, you vote for a person who can address the issues that affect your life. Don't look at someone based on where they come from, their tribes. Look at their capacity. What can this person do? What is his track record? What has he done in the past? And make an informed judgment, because the decisions they make up there directly affects your life. And the issue in 2027 will be about the economy. If your favorite candidate does not have a clue about how to manage the economy, then leave that person. That's my message.
All right.
Yes.
Leave that person.
Yes.
But I want to leave you without doing one mimic of Raila Odinga just for the hang of it, because you can. And I don't know why today you left the heart.
It has been my signature. It gives me a hard time to walk around. So, naitoanga ili
Celebrity status.
watu wasigundue ni mimi napita.
Okay.
So, but he also wears such like hats.
Yeah, he does.
Yes. So there are areas I still admire him for. Yes.
I am not letting you go without a mimic either way. I'm giving you time to process it in your mind.
You want me to be in character?
Yes.
So what case scenario do I pick?
Yeah. You know me, I'm setting for you. That's all it starts.
I think he likes this song called Jamaica Farewell.
Mm-hmm.
And let me see if I can sing it in his voice.
Please.
Down the way when the night is gay and the sunshine daily on the mountain top, I took a trip on a failing ship. When I reached Jamaica, I made a stop. But I sad to say I'm on my way. I won't be back for many a days. My heart is dark, my head spinning around. I had to leave a little girl in Kingston Town.
I had to finish it with this.
Thank you very
Joakim,
much.
thank you so much for coming through to Alpha House. Totally
Yes.
love it. I mean, for all of you who've been in the comments saying, bring Joakim Simiyu, I hope I fulfilled the promise. I promised he would be coming and he's been with us. So I hope you enjoyed and learned something from this episode. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe and see you on the next episodes.